Chapter 1. Planning is important because it helps you track your income and expenses. You can achieve financial freedom by being intentional about your budget. This means you have to pay more attention to the things you cannot do without, like rent, groceries, health insurance, etc. You also need to make an effort and take actionable steps to fuel your priorities and then determine how you spend your money without any financial fallout or overwhelming burden. This is the point where you stop dreaming about a big life and instead take the right steps to create the kind of life you want by looking at your money and deciding what you want it to do for you. If you spend your income as you receive your check without bothering to discern your needs or wants, you will end up living from paycheck to paycheck without having a grip on the debt you accumulate. Planning is essential in your journey to breaking free from debt. If you have no plan on how to save enough for rainy days, you'll struggle to cope when things get difficult. Planning allows you to map out your expenditures before they happen and enable you to enjoy a life without financial stress. The burden of financial stress can be very overwhelming, especially for people who receive a low income. Overcoming this problem requires careful planning, and if you cannot apply the rules required for successful budget planning, you can always hire a professional to do so for you. Continue through the following chapters to learn how to manage your finances and create the life you want. Chapter 2. It's helpful when you are explicit and intentional about how you spend your money. Being explicit and intentional about your money can be done by being active with your money or creating a to-do list with your income. Attribute $1 to an item of expenditure and you'll end up saving more and spending less. Once you have prioritized your financial goals by covering all your obligations, you'll have no worries about offsetting debts, even if you're cash-strapped. You will also be at liberty to spend your money on other things as you please, as long as you have cared for the most important things. The decision to stay out of debt primarily rests on you. Plan for the future by putting some things into consideration, like saving for a vacation, gym membership, and school fees. Plan ahead and you will have a budget that accommodates all your needs and your spending. When you embrace your true financial stance by knowing how to balance predictable and unpredictable expenses, you create the right platform to change your financial status. This means breaking down all your expenses and assigning money to each of them monthly for a year. Your true expenses fall into two main categories. Predictable expenses. These are expenses you expect monthly and know how much they cost. It could be car insurance, mortgage, etc. When you start budgeting for this kind of expense ahead and the time comes to pay bills, you will not be stranded or pile up more debt. Unpredictable expenses. These are inevitable expenses that will pay you a surprise visit when you least expect it. Like one who intends not to fall victim, you will need to plan ahead of time for this kind of expense. It could be an impulse donation, car repairs, credit card charges, etc. You need to identify and understand the 4 rules needed to create a budget. Rule 1. Give every dollar a job. The main aim is for emergency purposes, to separate your money from the predictable expenses. When you have identified your actual costs, it gives you a reliable and straightforward strategy to achieve your financial goals. Every penny must matter to you irrespective of what you use it for. Chapter 3. When you set real-life goals, you need to give room for adjustment. Rule number 2. Embrace your true expenses. Setting life goals should give room for any little tweak that may be needed to change your financial status. Make your financial budget flexible and realistic so that you can make quick adjustments when need be. It's vital to be straight with yourself when it comes to making a budget. Be very focused on the top priority that needs your money and attention. In doing so, you give yourself the liberty to reprioritize your budget and the money attached to it before spending. Do not feel guilty when you alter your budget to make room for other expenses. That's budgeting in real life. When making your monthly budget, create room for unexpected expenses that might pop up based on unforeseen contingencies. If you stick to only the things that you think are necessary, you may run into an emergency and end up stranded. Be wise to adapt to all the expenses because your life will reflect on the kind of budget you make regarding your priority. Life is unpredictable. If you do not want to be caught unawares by the many events that could throw you off balance, make sure to give your budget some room for change. Scarcity pushes us to be very concrete about our priorities, and those that matter to us the most make themselves known in these moments. And that will help make significant changes for the better with your finances. Jesse Mecham. Chapter 4. Setting up a budget as a couple might look crazy, but it is the best thing to do if you both want financial freedom. Rule number 3. Roll with your punches as it helps you to adapt for unforeseen contingencies. Having a financial budget that involves your partner is one of the best ways to overcome financial burdens. Together, you can save more, spend less, and still live a fun-filled life. A joint financial plan places checks and balances of some monetary extravagances. If you are interested in creating a budget as a couple, you might want to keep a few things in mind. First, learn about each other in the money aspect by taking note of who spends more, who is cautious about the prices of items, who does not like keeping track of their income, and what you both are bringing into the arrangement. With this, you both can reach an agreement on how to plan your monthly income without going into debt. Next, make sure to set your budget date and keep up with it by prioritizing the family's needs before any other expenses. Vacations and trips can wait if you're yet to pay the kids' tuition fees or restock the house. You can also delay getting a new car if you're yet to achieve financial stability. If you both have agreed, you can combine paychecks and bank accounts too, which will save more money and make both of you focus more on smart decision-making. Taking actionable steps is needed for great financial success because it will raise your income game by cutting back on some expenses. Find your true expenses, as this will enable you to plan well instead of settling debts when new bills come. Most people find themselves in a huge pile of debt, and it might take years for them to climb out from under it. Know the things you truly need to buy and work towards them instead of adding to your debt. Without a plan, you run the risk of sliding back into debt when you are faced with unforeseen contingencies. Set income goals just like you have also set goals for all your expenditures. Chapter 5. It is essential to teach your kids the importance of having a budget so that they will find it easier to save when they grow up. The earlier you teach your kids the benefits of having a successful financial plan that will help them in the future, the better for your kids to know how to control their money and spend it wisely. Grooming kids on the importance of financial planning is essential to them having a great future. Let your kids know the value of creating a plan and having a blueprint for their future expenses. Teach them the art of saving money and help them achieve their quota. Be flexible in your teaching approach by knowing when to be rigid and when to compromise a little. The times you allocate allowance to your kids who do not work yet, and even those who work, should serve as avenues for teaching them how to make a budget. When you feel like quitting, take a break and adjust your goals. Make sure not to set unrealistic spending goals and do not be too hard on yourself. You should also age your money by avoiding incurring debts before receiving your paycheck. Aging your money is the fourth rule, and it talks about having cash stocked out, covering all your expenses for an extended period without any stress about it. Keep on working to increase the time it takes you to spend the money once you receive it. If you are in debt, your money's age is negative because you have already spent your paycheck before it arrives. The age of your money determines the kind of lifestyle you're living in financially. If, for example, you are spending old money, it feels like a dream come true if you are used to living from paycheck to paycheck. As you apply this rule, you are increasing your money by waiting for bills to come rather than having a huge pile of bills waiting for your paycheck every month. Did you know? According to Money Crashers, a financial statistics organization, at $9.78 trillion, mortgages make up nearly 70% of American household debt. The next highest debt category is student loans at $1.54 trillion, followed by auto loans at $1.34 trillion. Chapter 6. Create a convenient environment for you to achieve your financial plans. Not many people know that one of the most important ways to create a successful financial budget is to build an environment where it's possible to achieve these plans. Your environment includes the mental, spiritual, and emotional aspects of your life. Decluttering the stress around you is key to your financial status. Drop all the relevant things that consume your money. If you love to drink a lot or consume too much food, reduce your intake and save more money. Avoid buying the things that are not important to you and stop pretending to be affluent when you are not. Faux affluence will get you to spend more than you earn trying to impress people who earn much more than you do. Also, it's important to start a business in a location where it will thrive. Handling a business that barely brings in any profit will run you aground. Poorly planned businesses are always difficult to manage because you end up spending more money trying to fix a problem that's not solvable. At some point, when the going gets tough, you may feel like quitting budgeting altogether. It's okay to have those feelings, but you need to think of a way to give yourself breathing space and take it easy on yourself. Let the little and insignificant things go. Take it one step at a time, and slowly you will get there and attain your financial freedom. Financial freedom won't happen all of a sudden. It's a continuous process that requires a lot of planning, patience, and determination. It also involves understanding that you might falter or suffer reproaches along the way. However tough it may be at first, you must try as best you can to not give up. When you ask, "What do I want my money to do for me?" you're deciding how you'll use your money to get closer to the life you want. Jesse Mecham. Conclusion. The road to financial freedom requires grit, determination, focus, and planning. As laid out by Jesse Mecham, getting acquainted with all the 4 rules sets you on the path to financial freedom. Getting neck-deep in debt can be frustrating and challenging to maintain, which is why you must ensure that you know how to be financially free. Many people end up accumulating debt without being productive. This leads to more debt that continues to weigh them down, causing a mental collapse and psychological drainage. Before you take a loan, make sure you have a financial plan that will ensure quick and seamless repayment. Loans are sometimes inevitable, but it still requires knowing how to pay back. Having a financial plan helps you deal with many issues that would have otherwise given you problems. It would be best if you had a budget, no matter how poor or rich you are. Budgets are there to help you manage your money and the way you spend it. Many people live paycheck to paycheck because they either spend on the wrong things or have no idea how to spend whatever they receive. While there's no denying that some people are not making enough to save, there's still the need for a financial budget. The financial budget is the only way you can manage the little you have without being overwhelmed by debt. Try this. Outline the 4 rules as stipulated by Jesse Mecham and ensure that you strictly put them into practice for at least 6 months. Document your budget and keep it in a safe place. You should also evaluate your position every 6 months and reevaluate on a regular basis. This allows you to know where you stand and what you need to do better.